your ruler.
Salt.
Your lands, your possessions, your very lives will gladly be given in tribute to me.
What's up, guys? So we're going to be checking out a video of Kanye West explaining to Tucker Carlson why he wore the White Lives Matter shirt that he wore. And it's weird because, well, we'll cover it when it comes up.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Kanye West, now known as Ye, is one of the best-selling musical artists in the world. He has also in recent years become a celebrated and very highly paid fashion designer. And of course, for a decade, he was well known to TV audiences as an in-law of the Kardashian family. But it's West's latest incarnation as a kind of Christian evangelist that brought us to his office in Los Angeles today for the interview you're about to see. Days ago, during Fashion Week in Paris, West, accompanied by his friend Candace Owens, unveiled a T-shirt that read simply, "White Lives Matter." The response from the fashion industry and international media was instantaneous and uniform. Shock, horror, rage. "There is no excuse for this," thundered the New York Times. "West is legitimizing extremism," shrieked Rolling Stone, etc., etc.
Extremism.
What was striking?
Dude, okay, so that goes what I was going to say. Like this okay, there's this one YouTuber I really like, Tyrone Magnus. He reacted to this video, and just I have a feeling like literally the day after he reacted to this video and White Lives Matter was in his title, you'll see how this is relevant in a second, right? He's a black guy. He's a black guy, right? White Lives Matter was in his title. The next day, he got demonetized. Now, I'm not saying they had anything to do with each other, but it just seems like that's weird. The next day after you did a video that happened to have the title contain the words "White Lives Matter," you lost White Lives Matter. You lost monetization on your channel. Anyways, weird coincidence. But also, why is it extremism? Why is it extremism? Why is it perfectly okay to say Black Lives Matter left and right all the time, but White Lives Matter is offensive and extremism, and so it's like it doesn't make any sense. It's just the equivalent. It's just the equivalent. It's crazy to me. Like it's fucking crazy. Not to mention that BLM, the organization, has left and right been proven to just be a complete scam, stealing taxpayer money. At $80 million, another $80 million just went poof. They don't know how it was spent. It's a complete Ponzi scheme. But anyways,
Any explanation for why West did this? What was the T-shirt about? No one seemed to think to ask him, much less to listen to what he had to say. Instead, the enemies of his ideas dismissed West, as they have for years, as mentally ill. Too crazy to take seriously. Look away, ignore him. He's a mental patient. There's nothing to see here. But is West crazy? You can judge for yourself as you watch what we're about to show you. He has his own ideas, we can say that. Creative people tend to. That's why they're artists, not actuaries. His free-form social media posts give the impression of a man channeling his rawest emotions right onto Instagram. The effect can be jarring and is often used as ammunition against him in the battle for influence over the minds of America's young people, and that battle is intense. But crazy? That was not our conclusion. In fact, we've rarely heard a man speak so honestly and so movingly about what he believes. But again, you can judge for yourself. Here it is. So you just came from Paris Fashion Week. You just landed, and you have a lanyard still on from it, and there's a photograph on it. What is that?
It's a photograph of a baby's ultrasound.
Why is that? And that you designed that?
Yes.
Why? What does that mean?
It just represents life. I'm pro-life.
Boy, so you wear it on a badge. What kind of response do you get? And good, amen, I agree.
I don't care about people's responses. I care about the fact that there's more black babies being aborted than born in New York City at this point. That 50% of Black death in America is abortion. So I really don't care about people's responses. I perform for an audience of one, and that's God.
I'm starting to see why they want to make you be quiet. When did you start to feel this way? When did you start to realize this?
I really felt like, I think I started to really feel this need to express myself on another level when Trump was running for office, and I liked him.
Yes.
And every single person in Hollywood, from my ex-wife to my mother-in-law to my manager at that time to, you know, my so-called friends / handlers around me, told me, like, if I said that I like Trump, that my career would be over, that my life would be over. They said stuff like people get killed for wearing a hat like that. They threatened my life. They put my life. They basically said that I would be killed for wearing the hat. I had someone call me last night and said anybody wearing a White Lives Matter shirt is going to be greenlit, and that means that they're going to beat them up if they wear it. And I'm like, you know, okay, green light me then. You know, God builds warriors in a different way. I don't know if it's because of me being born in Atlanta and growing up on the south side of Chicago that, you know, he made me for such a time like this. It's like with David, you know, he tended to the sheep, but while he was out there, he had to fight all kinds of animals. So when it was time for Goliath to come, you thought because he was a sheep herder that he didn't have the skill set to take down Goliath. And the thing that I have is the position, I have my heart, but the number one thing is we have God on our side. And for the people, even if you don't believe in God, God believes in you.
So you made reference to the White Lives Matter T-shirt, which you brought out at Paris Fashion Week.
Yeah.
Why did you do that, and what did it mean?
You know, I do certain things from a feeling. I just channel the energy. It just feels right. It's using a gut instinct, a connection with God, and just brilliance. You know, like as if you asked like Tanya Harding how she did the triple flip or the triple spin. Yeah. She was in so much practice that when it was time for her to skate in a competitive format, it just happened. Like it happened outside of practice. It happened in the real format, and that's what's happening. Is God is like preparing us for the real battles, and we are in a battle with the media. Like the majority of the media has a godless agenda, and the jokes in that work and this whole like, oh yeah, he's crazy and all these things, they don't work because
dang it. Dude, my CPU is dying.
You know, they've also watched travesties happen, just even specifically to me, and just watch it and act like it wasn't happening, and they stay quiet about it.
What have they?
I want to answer the white. Yeah. I feel like someone caught what I was saying, the comparison to Tanya Harding about the White Lives Matter. You know, my dad is an educated ex-Black Panther, and he put a text to me today. He said, "White Lives Matter, ha, 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 ha." And I said, I thought the shirt was a funny shirt. I thought the idea of me wearing it was funny. And I said, "Dad, why do you think it was funny?" He said, just a Black man stating the obvious. Yeah. And, you know, my dad doesn't listen to rap music, and he's like super educated. We opened up a water distribution center in the Dominican Republic together. He's like the original Steve Jobs, but he was getting blocked every which way with all of his ideas, and he didn't have an endless bank account, and he didn't have an Instagram. So all these ideas, he had to like take them back and compress them. Like my dad is the most brilliant person that I know, and we actually have a strained relationship because I was taken from him, because my mom was an actress, so she was a liberal, and my dad would see certain things and say, you know, we should do it this way, we should do it that way, and the people got around my mom and pulled her away, much like, you know, Kim is a Christian, but she has people who want her to go to Interview Magazine and put her ass out.
Dude, so the reason why I've been quiet this whole time is because it's just super interesting, and I've been listening intently, but also at the same time, just I was like, oh shit, is my CPU gonna shit the bed? Is it froze? But anyways, he just touched on something that's so spot on and shaped the way, well, not completely, but was the beginning stepping stone of how I view the world, right? He nailed it. That's exactly it. The same exact thing that he just described happened to him and his mom and his dad is the same exact thing that happened to me, my mom, and my dad, right? My dad would tell my mom, we should do it this way. We should do it this way. And what would happen? His own sister, his own sister would tell his wife, my mother. So my aunt would tell my dad's sister, my aunt would tell my mom, no, don't listen to him. Don't let him tell you what to do, right? Combined with her friends, the same type of so. Oh, he would say we're doing it this way, and then all the friends and even his own sister would betray him and say, don't let him tell you what to do. No, do it this way. And it ended up leading to their divorce, right? The same type of thing, right? The man is doing what he's supposed to do and say how it is and lead, right? And then the whole rest of society and all the little the hen nest being empowered by the liberal media saying, no, fuck it all up, be spiteful, be more vindictive, right? Simply just because he was doing what he was supposed to do as a man and lead and try and say, no, we're gonna do it this way, we're gonna do it this way for him, right? But then she fucked it all up. She fucked up my potential life, what could have been, and learning from an early age and having a healthy, like for example, my cousin, one of my best friends, his parents were together all the way until he was an adult, right? All the way until after he was an adult. They didn't split up until after he was well into his adulthood, right? And it completely changed the gears in his head of like mental well-being, right? Mental well-being. He's just like life is, I'm not going to say easy for him, but things just fall into place as they're supposed to in his relationships, he's got a family now, he's got a healthy family, whereas opposed to my mother, right? And the liberal media telling her friends and my dad's sister to fuck it all up, right? They split up when I was 5. So 5-year-old with no family, right? Whereas someone who has their family, the whole that goes into what it makes a difference. It makes a difference. And I saw all that. I figured it out. I wasn't stupid. I was pretty smart for my 5-year-old self. Like I saw exactly what was happening. So I never blamed my dad because I was intelligent and no one had to tell me anything. He never. The thing about it is, my dad never trash talked my mom ever. He never did. If anything, he always stuck up for her and said, "That's your mom, respect her." Right? The only person who ever tried to trash talk anyone was her trying to trash talk him. And so this whole idea that your dad brainwashed you, like against your mother and turned you into misogynist, that's not true at all. Because if anyone, if anything, my mother tried to make me hate my dad, which all of these women try to do that pull this shit. They all do it. They all say, "Oh, your dad did this, your dad did that," and then they purposely try and spin this story that the dad is this awful person that he's not, and that it's all his fault that you're a single parent household and blah blah blah. Anyways, luckily, I saw through all her bullshit, and he wanted custody, but as a spiteful, vindictive woman always is, she refused it, and then I ended up getting to go live with my dad when I was 12 because she decided she didn't want me anymore. So I didn't even have to wait till the certain age of 14 where the kid gets to decide. I didn't even have to wait till then because she wanted to send me away to a boys' home, and he's like, no, send him to me. And she's like, no, I don't want to send him to you. I'd rather send him to a boys' home. I'd rather send him to be raised by strangers, right? Than because I'm so vindictive and spiteful. He's like, no, send him to me. So he took it to court, and then the court demanded that I go there. But anyways, my point is this: they pull this shit because they're empowered by the liberal media to do it because they feel like it's normal, it's normalized, and it's just fucking bullshit, dude. It's absolutely completely destroys the family unit. It fucks kids up, and it makes a huge difference. If you look at me and then look at my cousin, whose parents were together well into his adulthood, and look at where I'm at in life, and look at where he's at in life with his family and that he's built for himself and his responsibilities, and it makes a hell of a difference. But anyways, let's jump into it. And man, that was a long rant. But I didn't mean to sidetrack the video.
Something-year-old multi-billionaire with 4 black children, and this is how fashion wants to, how they want to present her. So I know you give these questions, and I give you like these 3-part answers. Is this a cool format for you?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, cool.
And I am following it.
All right.
So you said that your father said when he saw the shirt "White Lives Matter," it's great to see a black man stating the obvious. So, by which I think you meant that's obviously true.
Yeah, that's my favorite response, because I kept on thinking, like, people, they're looking for an explanation, and people say, well, as an artist, you don't have to give an explanation, but as a leader, you do.
Yes, I think that's right.
So the answer to why I wrote "White Lives Matter" on a shirt is because they do. It's the obvious thing.
Yeah. Why do you think that's so? And I assume the implication is, of course, all lives matter because they're lives, because God created them.
Yeah.
Why do you think that would be considered controversial?
Because the same people that have stripped us of our identity and labeled us as a color have told us what it means to be black and the vernacular that we're supposed to have. My dad grew up as a military brat, and his family moved around, but they were based mostly in Delaware. And at the time, if they weren't the only black family, they were one of the few. And he would be discriminated against because he was black. So by the time he got into college, he would be discriminated against. He went to a black college, he would be discriminated against because they said he talked too white.
Yes.
And then he played the kick drum in the band. So when he would go to the club and the music was playing, where would he clap his hands? Where the kick drum is.
Yeah.
So it's the opposite of where everyone else was clapping their hands. And this is the most elegant and tasteful person that I know. And when my mom, when the school suggested, like, the herding systems, because what they do is take the black community and they separate us, and they separate the families, and the educated, they push this, need for higher education, and us as blacks, we discriminate against each other and say, well, I got my PhD and you don't have your PhD, so I'm better than you. And so my mom, she had a PhD, and she was influenced to move to the south side of Chicago and take this job at Chicago State University. And she told my dad, if you come for us, you'll never see him again. Because, the media ridiculed me for getting the house next door to Kim to see my children. And they even said that I was stalking her and her new boyfriend because I bought the house next door to see my children. And that's how I knew that my mom had said that to him. I said, Dad, they moved us to one of the most agreed upon to be one of the most dangerous places in the world. It's almost like they tried to kill me or something. I said, Dad, why'd you never come to get us? And that's when he told me that she was told that. There's so many things that are put in Kim's head. They bring influencers, like no one ever knew where Corey Gamble came from. No one in the fashion world knows where Gabby came from. These people were practically made in a laboratory, in my opinion. And one of the things that they're really good at doing is being nice and being likable. And what they do is, for people that have some form of influence, whether it's an educated black woman like my mother that became the head of the English department at Chicago State University, or whether it's the most influential white woman on the planet, being my ex-wife, they have people that are around them at all times telling them what to be afraid of. It's like not what to do or say specifically, it's what to be afraid of. And if you have a person that isn't afraid of them, like a Russell Brand or Candace Owens.
Right.
It's not that we have to agree
No.
with this, but
They're not afraid.
they're not afraid to state what their opinion is.
Yes.
No one is God, and everyone has an opinion.
So a conversation like this.
Russell Brand, who would have guessed 10 years ago when he's in comedies like Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Arthur, the remake of Arthur, and all these other movies like Get Him to the Greek, Rub the Furry Wall. Who would have thought this guy would have been so like? Now I don't agree with him on some stuff, but it's crazy that the left has moved so left that someone like Russell Brand is considered far right. That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyways, let's finish the video.
World that you don't see. So if you're familiar with West from the media, you think of him as an individual man. What you don't think about is that he is at the center of a battle, and people like him are at the center of a battle to get a message out. Mouthed by the lips of influencers like him and so many others, that extends a storyline on behalf of, well, in this case, the status quo. So there are a lot of people vying to make certain that people like him say the right things, and the consequences for not doing that are very severe. So for him to come out and say all lives matter, obviously, is a huge threat to a lot of people. Who are those people exactly? Well, we asked him, and he told us. That's next. Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch...
Oh, dang, dude. I thought that was going to be the whole thing. Anyways, what we saw was good. That was good. He doesn't seem crazy at all. Like, I mean, it's only logical. Of course you're gonna want to be as close as possible. If you can't be together as a family unit, then the next best thing is you living next door so that your kids can always feel close to you, right? So the closeness of mom is right there, dad's right there, the closeness of the nuclear family, that's the next best thing. That's not stalking. He has every right to want to live next door to his kids. That's not stalking. But anyways, so it's a really long video. Man, I rambled a lot in this one. But anyways, I appreciate if you made it this far and you're still watching. I appreciate you for watching. And please like the video and subscribe and all that, and follow me on Twitch. And I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out, guys.